Hi, I'm Issey.
And hi, I'm Matt, and we're from the Molotovs, and you're listening to 932.
It was really good, you know. We're going on tour Palaye Royale for just this European leg. So we're just yesterday was in the where were we? No.1? Is that how you pronounce it? That's it. So
Close enough. That was pretty good to be fair.
I tried my best. It was really good. You know, it's always measure like a performance of the crowd, and it was a really very free, a lot less stiff than British crowds. They're a little bit more. There's kind of one-upmanship, but here they were just really just wanted to get involved.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like people are there to suss you out. They're more there to actually get involved and have a good time. And they seem excited to see support group, which for being that band is it's nice. I don't know. You don't really get a lot of time to sit around and think about it, to be fair. But I guess I can talk from the thing of when we look back on like gigs we've done this year, whatever, and stuff like that. And you go, wow, weren't that great, But our schedule is so busy and so that you don't really get time to dwell on it. By the time you get to think about it, you're off to the next place. You love next country or the next tour or whatever, or you're back in the studio. So
we've always found ourselves a busy band, and we've always prided ourselves in that. We've done over 600 gigs together, but we haven't realised how busy is until kind of this year when we've hit some real milestones. Like for example, we had our first single out earlier this year. More we had our second single, Today's My Day. We've announced an album, so it's finally this time for us to start getting music out and to move on from being a respected live band to kind of going into the studio and getting those down on tape as well.
Yeah, I mean, as a band, I don't think we've had more than 2 consecutive weeks off in the past 5 years, including Christmas.
Yeah, people ask, well, when are you going to have a holiday? It's like, well, us coming here, this is the holiday, we're abroad, so it's kind of...
Well, definitely, I mean, not to shit on the UK or anything, because we have such a great time and a really good fan base, and we love playing there, but I'll tell you what, the way that bands are treated over here, and our just the place, it's so nice. The venues are nice, and everything's just good. The green room is lovely. It's not just storage cupboard. You laugh, but there's only, for some reason, any British bands or Netherlands bands who's watching this and been to the UK, they'll know.
They're probably expecting Carnaby Street and dandies and hippies.
New King's Road, King's
and Basin
Road.
Flowers, but it's pretty...
storage cupboardy.
Yeah, it's more bleak, and it's either pastoral or monochrome. It was a big lead up to it in a way, kind of all culminated in this big American tour that's going to be happening in September. But we've had multiple run-ins with the Sex Pistols. We've supported Glenn Matlock, who wrote all the songs, the original bass player, multiple times. We supported Blondie at Cardiff Castle
when he was playing bass for him.
And he was again playing bass.
And we supported professionals and all that. And then when we did a youth benefit gig to save a venue called Bush Hall in London, and he's a local, and that's so we got on stage behind the drums and played God Save the Queen, I guess, in aid of the venue. And I went up to him. I saw him in the crowd, and I went up to him earlier in the day while the support band was on, or in between acts, and I was like, "Oh, are you getting up for a tune?" And he was like, "No, I'm not going to get up. I'll leave it to you young kids." But this is before the Pistols started going back on tour, and I thought, I think he missed it, so he got on stage, But now I guess he's.
But these bands are like a summation of their youth and energy of the times, and it's like the Sex Pistols are, so symbolic of the late 70s period and coming out on glam rock and the hippie era as well. This kind of a bit more frivolous and progressive kind of rock into something that's more simple and direct and aggressive in a way. And I think we kind of share some of those qualities as a band. So it's kind of that thing of passing the baton on and.
I guess complete change in youth culture throughout decades. Definitely.
And even they inspired like a whole, you know, it's that iconic and famed first Sex Pistols gig, and it was like the members of the Fall, Joy Division, Buzzcocks were all there, and it's like these are some of the bands that have, you know, not only Sex Pistols, but those bands who were inspired by them so directly, you know, we take so much from them too. We've got lots to kind of thank for their musical contributions.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, that's the reaction, really. Yeah. You know, we're lucky to have really, you know, really loyal and an enthusiastic fan base who, you know, go out and buy it on the day and pre-order it and all the rest of it, and stream it loads. You know, even if there's, you know, no noise coming out, whatever. But you know, they just want to support and help the band as much as they can, and you know, help it grow. You know, it's not just to them and to us. It's not just our band. You know, it's for them as well, because we understand that we wouldn't be doing the gigs we're doing and, you know, getting on tours like this if it weren't for them. You know.
It's really important as well to us that it was #1 in physical sales, so it's stuff, you know, we did a limited edition print on vinyl, and for us, you know, before we decided to release music, we were gigging loads because that's where we found the most authentic way for us to get our music out, and you get that great connection between yourself and the crowd. And so with vinyl, it's, you know, it's so tactile, it's so real, instead of, you know, putting stuff out onto streaming services where it just gets lost in the abyss and, you know, you lose the value of the music. But when you've got, you know, it shows that people want that, they want stuff that's real and tactile, and they kind of want to hark back to these times that, yeah, I think everything just had a little bit more substance. It's, you know, really important that it was in vinyl sales as well. Totally. It's the artwork, it's the lyric sheet, it's everything. It's not just the music that comes with a little black disc.
I guess just the sound of youth, whatever they, you know, if they look at us and whatever they picture that to be, then, you know, they can expect that, and they can either be totally surprised or they can be, I don't know, underwhelmed. But I don't think they're going to be underwhelmed by it. I think it's really good. We record it, you know, pretty quickly in a matter of weeks, and yeah, you know, it's all the songs we've been writing and playing live for the past 5 years, and you know, so they're all tried and tested and respected well by our audience. So, you know, I don't think there's any reason why it shouldn't do well, or, you know, people shouldn't expect big things from it, because you know, people have been what?
Sorry, just whatever that was.
Well, people should not expect big things from it, because we've had people for 5 years jumping around to these tunes, so, and enjoying it. The Rhythm of Yourself is called, and it's probably the longest song on the album, but only because it's got a bit instrumental bit. But I just really like the lyrics on that, and it's our next upcoming single as well, and that'll be released on the 31st of October, which is Halloween, and yeah.
Also, it could be what hasn't been recorded yet. We're actually going back into the studio in like a week or two. We're recording at Paul Weller's studio in near Woking, and we're recording one of our songs, Johnny Don't Be Scared, that didn't, you know, we didn't feel like we captured the energy of it in the full like album recording process. So we're going back and doing it completely live. So we're really excited to see how that, you know, turns out, and experimenting and recording in that way. Yeah, we wanted to record that way for the album. We didn't. You know, you work with a producer and you know, you kind of give and take, and you know, you have that relationship. But this time we're doing it, yeah, just a different way, just try it out, see where we are. But you know, loads of our favourite albums, you know, Beatles, you know, Sex Pistols, they recorded live, and it's that's yeah, you get that really, it's a kick.
Well, these are bands that played live loads, you know, and so and you know, people rave about them. You know, oh, I saw the Pistols live, I saw Jam live, and you know, the best thing ever. And you know, so why would you then record a band, you know, part by part, and just dissect it like that, and I guess try and piece it together, you know, when there's not that magic in the room when you're doing it like that. And you know, it seems alien to me why people would think like that, like, oh, that's how you make a record nowadays, you know. I think it's just lazy, and think, oh, it's hard to mix or harder to comp or whatever, and it's just like, well, that's your job, man. You know, people get paid so much, producers and all the rest of it get paid so much money to comp stuff and all that sort of thing, and it's like, well, you know, just do it.
Well, fashion and music has always gone on hand in hand. You know, it's a zeitgeist of the times, and you know, it's not just the musicians, it's the artists, it's the fashion designers, it's the graphic designers, and like fashion, I mean, it's what you're feeling on the inside. It's an outward expression of who you are, and so is the music. It's like when Mathew writes his songs, it's like that's what's going on in his head. That's his internal dialogue, what he's fretting about, or what he wants to, you know, thinks needs to be put out there.
It's all very carefully picked. You know, we don't just fall into these clothes. You know, it's like it's all like a combination of what, you know, our interests and our influences. I guess, you know, if you see a band you like or a artist you like wearing some sort of clothes, you know, I'll always go and look for it. You know, oh, that's a great shirt, or you know, what's that tie, or you know, pair of shoes, or pair of sunglasses, and I'll go out and look for it. And more often than not, I can find it. You know, but
it's very tribal fashion. You know, you want to find your crowd. It's instinctual, and it's like clothes are so important to that. You know, we dress how we are. It's like a bit mod, kind of punk, I guess, new wave influence. It's like as soon as you see someone else wearing that, you go, all right, they're switched on as well. You know, I want to go chat to them. I want them to be part of my crowd, or I want to, you know, yeah, just chat to them. It's yeah, super important.
Well, because we're young and we're not remaking it, you know, because we're writing our own songs, and it's never going to be exactly the same, because everything's changed since then. You know, the audience has changed, you know, the way people perceive music has changed, and I guess maybe to a lot of older people who are there first time round, they might go, oh, we've seen it all before, you know, but to a lot of these younger kids who come to the gigs and start looping about, you know, they don't seem to mind, because they don't know. You know, these bands they don't know these bands we take influence from, and you know, as far as it's to them, it's completely new. But you know, we don't try to hide our influences or anything like that, because everyone's got them. No, exactly. You know, people are acting like it is a bad thing, but we don't expect people not to notice. You know, where all of this comes from. You know, we didn't make it up. But
it's great if they do.
It's the way we interpret it. Important.
It means that people also have a great musical history, you know, and you know, guitar bands haven't been the main focus for a number of years now. If there's loads of people going, oh, that reminds me of that, well, at least they know. You know, the more people that know, the better. Do you want to read yours first?
No, you can.
No, go for it. You read yours.
Why?
Just read it out.
What's your favourite snack to buy at a gas station or something while on tour? From Talena Chikami from Bite Me Bambi. I don't know where to start.
You said that as if every word was a different sentence.
I don't know where to start with that. Nice handwriting though. I don't know.
You're always eating like quavers or like...
No, I'm not. That's just... Have you seen me this whole tour eat quavers?
What do you like? What do you eat alone?
I like a sandwich. I like chicken stuffing, chicken bacon, all day breakfast sandwiches.
He eats probably the rankest thing at the corner shop he can, like the most plasticky, like those kind of burgers that come...
What, Mr. Rustler's burgers?
Yeah.
That's at home. And there's £1 meatballs. I don't know if anyone from the UK again will be watching, but in every like off license you have these £1 meatballs and stuff like that made by Hassa Foods, and it's really cheap and really tasty. But I think if you have too many of them in one sitting, it gets a bit sickly. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, right. Okay. My question. What kind of artist or band would you choose to erase from the history of music? Jacob Amir.
That's a really good one.
Leoniden.
Well, how come I got snacks from the corner shop?
Erase from the history of music. I think when...
I've got loads, but I don't want
to
say it.
You do. You know, we're not that into kind of quite introspective, drony, kind of monotone
what band?
Rock. So like when you get into some kind of Coldplay area, and I know they're in the public view at the moment, well obviously they attract the wrong kind of...
If Coldplay didn't exist, no one would care.
Yeah.
I'm going to go out and say it. If Coldplay didn't exist, like, they wouldn't make a big like, the bands that come today would still be the same.
Yeah.
You know, like that would be Snow Patrol. No one's missing out, I don't think. You know, and there's tons of other bands that I'd love to say, but I don't think it's clever for my career if I say them.
Yeah, they write the email, or do you want to support us on our worldwide stadium tour? That's just been completely cut off.
Yeah, I don't think I would though with these bands. I don't think I would, no matter how much they pay. It's a matter of principle, I think. But pre-save our album or buy the album. Support us in any way you can. If you're watching this when our next single, The Rhythm Yourself, has come out, then please stream it and you know, keep the faith and keep your love of music.
Your strikers, your front
Well,
man,
it doesn't have to be like that. Just like, who would you have on a five-a-side football team?
No, it has to be.
No, it doesn't.
It's
better. Well, because then you're just making a super group. Then it's the same question. Make a super group with 5 members.
Yeah,
that's so boring.
No, but it's not, because it's a better way of posing the question. Stop taking the fun out of it.
But you're taking the fun out of it.